Hi, I'm Katie May. Welcome back to my channel. This is a bit new. My room is trashed. It's not mint here. It's not epic, but it's a new setting from the last video I made, which was at my office. This is at my house. I think I'm gonna film here more. I didn't like the atmosphere at the office. The light was too cool. But here I have these guys and IKEA lamp over here and whatever. It's a mess in here. I'm gonna clean it, but I just didn't have the energy because it's literally like 3:20 a.m. This video was really only supposed to be a review of the Himi Gouache set, which I got on Amazon for like 20 bucks, super cheap. But then it turned into this whole painting process, which took me like 4 hours, and I stayed up way late than I meant. Whoa. But I'm really excited about it. I just finished The Witcher on Netflix. If you haven't seen it, it's really good. You should watch it. It's one of those things that, like, I read the books, they were really good. I played the game, and now I've watched the show. I really meant to drag it out longer because it's going to be a whole year before we get another season, and I watched it in 7 days, which was not what I meant to do, but here we are. It's really good. I suggest you go watch it. So I painted Yennefer from the Witcher series, franchise, whatever you want to call it, and I had a really fun time with it. So if you want to see my thoughts on the Himi Gouache set, continue watching, and also if you just want to see my painting process, continue watching. So here I have the Himi Gouache set. It has snaps on both sides that lift up. First impression of the packaging, it's kind of heavy and very nice plastic. It's got a really nice smooth satin feel to it. It snaps right open and lifts off like a little lunchbox lid almost. And it comes with this little palette, which is actually really nice, and I used the whole time I was painting this next painting. So it comes with these cute little jelly cups, and that's what the gouache is in. They're really cute. They lift right up out of the thing. It's a little tricky to get them up at first because they're all like laid on top of each other because they're all technically too big to go in there, but it's whatever. I was looking for a thing to put the top of the gouache thing on, like the lid. This one like squirted up on my finger, so I was really careful from going on from there to not put a lot of pressure on the top of the lid as I was removing said aluminum almost lid. A lot of paint does come off on the lids when they pull off, but I was not super concerned about this considering that there is already so much paint in the actual gouache little jelly cups. I wasn't concerned about losing a lot on the lid. I'm going to zip through these next couple tins just because it's the same process over and over again, just removing the plastic from the top so that the gouache can sit in without the lids. It was harder for some of them than for others, but as long as you get the hang of it, it gets pretty repetitive and simple and easy. Now that all of the lids are off of the gouache, I can't wait to try it. The first thing I do is I lay down a little bit of that just solid color, and then I blend it out with a little bit of water just to test each color and how the opacity works out and how the shades work out with the opacity. I did this with all 18 colors and it turned out really well. I'm just going to speed through this bit as well because you don't really need to watch me swatch, whatever, all of the colors. So this next test I did was based entirely on the fact that I didn't know which of my whites was which. If you don't know, in the art world, there are two types of whites, in my opinion at least. There are probably more than two, but to my knowledge, there are two types of whites. There is like a titanium white, which is a white pigment that you use to lighten things, and it's really crisp and sharp, and it has a slightly more opaque opacity to it, and it's more blue toned. And then there's a mixing white, which helps you create more subtle variations in tone. So here I was just testing a little bit of this blue with each white. I tried to make them about as similar as I could, just to see which was the titanium white and which was the blending white. This was actually really helpful in the end to my painting process, just because there were a few times where I would have liked to have the titanium white, or a few times I'd like to have the blending white, and it came down to that. You can tell very clearly right away. The one on the left is the blending white because there's a more subtle change from the dark to the light blue, but on the right there is definitely a much more impressive or different change, because the titanium white is much more opaque and changed the color a lot more than the blending white did. The next test I ran was a blendability test. I was just testing how easy the colors went into water, as well as how easily they blended together. So here's my sketch. I spent a little bit of time on it. Usually what I do is I start with just a regular number 2 pencil, and then I go over it with a just red Crayola pencil, because I like the way that fades into the skin and you don't have to worry about it showing through the paint. So, how do I want to start? I also have this little border around the edges that I didn't know what I wanted to do with when I started, but then I figured out that I wanted to paint lilac and gooseberries around the edges just because that's Yennefer's thing.
Can't say yes, can't say no. This thing's out of my control. It's hard to explain it. Heavy hearts weigh us down, and the water's getting deep. Do we swim or do we sink? 'Cause there's still a long, long way to go. Worrying over our heads, we're holding our breath. Will we ever get to the other side before there's nothing left? Yeah, our bodies are weak, we're tired of hurting. Will we ever get to the other side? Don't know, but I swear I'll die trying. Shake my wrist down to a sinking ship. For I got trying. Oh, I got trying. We're in over our heads, but we're holding our breath. Will we ever get to the other side before there's nothing left? Yeah, our bodies hands are weak, we're tired of hurting. Will we ever get to the other side? Don't know.
Anyways, that was my review of the Himi Gouache set. I love this set so much. It honestly gets a 10 out of 10 from me. I've never painted with gouache like gouache. I had a few tubes of gouache that I've used like heavily in the past before, but I've never used it like I used it today. I like this particular set because it's very pigmented. You don't have to fight with getting your colors super bright because they're really bright and really like opaque and intense when you apply them to the paper. I don't know if I already said this, they're blendable. They're super blendable. A lot of times you trade blendability for opacity or vice versa, but I didn't find that I had to trade it at all. They like blended super well. It was like a super, I would say this, it was a super deluxe experience to paint with this set, and I think that they were easy to work with. I didn't have to fight with them the whole time to either blend or be opaque, or like, it wasn't really a fight, which is something I think that honestly scared me off when I first started painting in the beginning, was because a lot of the beginner products, you have to sacrifice opacity or blendability, but this is one of the best beginner products I have ever used in my life. It is not just a beginner product, but I see how this could have changed my whole experience painting when I was younger, and it could have helped me pick up painting so much faster to have products that were high quality but low price. And that's what I found with this gouache set. It's, again, I would have said it probably multiple times by now. It's 3 a.m. I don't remember anything, but I spent 20 bucks on this gouache set, and it did nothing but amazing things for me. It was like super good. I really enjoyed it. The only, like, the packaging is nice. I said that in the video. The only comments I have is that you cannot store this sideways. You cannot, if you want a travel palette, which it's good, and I have not traveled anywhere with it yet because I literally got it today, but if I do travel with it, I will not store it sideways, and I will be very careful that it doesn't get knocked over, because even though the gels will dry and you can reactivate them with water, it still has a super serious chance of tipping out everywhere. That was my main comment when I saw someone else review this, was if I had that, it would be a disaster because I would drop it and get paint all over the floor. I really love this set though. Let me open it up and show you what's going on right now. So if you can see, this is a really good example, I'm gonna be careful. The yellow ochre is already beginning to crack as it dries, which is not something I'm concerned about because gouache, you can, it's like watercolor in that you can rehydrate it with water as you go along. But I do expect some cracking to happen, and that's not like a failure in the product at all. If that happens to you, if you get the set, don't worry about it. That's just how science works. So I really hope you enjoyed this video. I sure did. As I go on and pick up school and more work, I'm gonna try to set up a more rigid recording schedule, but right now it's Christmas break and I'm just vibing and recording when I feel like recording. I do hope to get to a more regular weekly basis of recording though, just because this is something I actually find myself to really enjoy so far. There was another painting that I was painting that I started painting and then realized that I probably should have filmed it because it turned out really nice. I'll probably post pictures of it on my Instagram. Speaking of my Instagram, I'll link it down below, down there. I put something here maybe, I don't know how to do that. We'll see if I can figure it out, but I don't have a website yet. If I do have a website, I'll probably sell art on it. We'll see. I might go through the process of scanning and making prints, and I'll take you along for that for sure. Right now, one of the main limitations is that I'm filming on my computer, so I'd have to film on my phone, and the one drawback of the phone I have is that the camera is shite. It's not great, but whatever, I'll figure it out. I hope you have an amazing rest of your holiday season. Subscribe, like, share with your friends. I'm trying to do the best I can to get this off the ground because this is something I really enjoy, like I said, and I want to continue to do it. I don't care if it gets profitable at all. I just want something to do with my time and a reason to make art. I'm still gonna make it why I'm doing this video because I keep meaning to explain it and then I just never do. But that's that. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I will see you next week or something. Bye-bye.